Bonjour, je m'appelle Sarah Paquet, je suis la première vice-présidente à Services Partagés Canada. I'm the Executive Vice President at Shared Services Canada. Very happy to be here today to talk about men as ally in women in STEM. As we know, women in STEM, STEM is for science, technology, engineering, and math. That's a market where women are underrepresented, and this is why men needs to be there as ally to support women in STEM to thrive. So that's what we're going to discuss today. As we know, senior leadership today in private sector, public sector, non-for-profit sector are often more men than women. So how can those men help us do better? So today we have two champions that are real ally that are going to talk to us about their experience as men as ally. Martin Bernier, Chief Information Officer, University of Ottawa, and Luc Villeneuve, President, Benchmark Corporation. It's a software solution company based in Mississauga. So you may wonder, what is an ally? Man as an ally is a man that will actively promote women in STEM, aspire to advance a culture of inclusion by true, positive, intentional, and conscious effort to benefit all. So man allies work with their peers to generate those respectful dialogue. It's small steps rooted in respect that bring this culture shift for long-lasting results. So gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. And I would like to know a little bit about yourself before we start our discussion.
Merci, Sarah. So for me, like being a male ally, it's about inviting and including everyone in the discussion. Now, honestly, I learned so much the last 2 years about what is to be a male ally and what is the value. Now, today, I really want to share my experience. Like, we need to be honest, like being a male ally can be really uncomfortable. Like, honestly, right now, I want to make sure to say the right thing. Like I am uncomfortable right now. My goal 2 years ago was to be invisible. What do I mean by that? I want to provide my full support to the woman, but in the background. Like at that time, I didn't understand the value of being a visible male ally. This had been a really interesting journey to get where I am right now. Now I want to be visible. I want to be a visible male ally. This is not my style. I don't need visibility usually. I don't want visibility. I don't need to be on stage just like today. But I want to put my people in front. Like I'm always looking people first. Like women this time, diversity in general. I learned the value to support them and to be visible. I want to share that value. I want to bring more men to the diversity discussion. I'm really proud and happy that's what we're doing today. I'm really proud to be here sitting with Luc and with you, Sarah, to talk about that. I think for me, we need to create that safe place to express the topic. And I'm a proud founding member of University of Ottawa Women Innovation. I'm so excited about the Male Ally Training Initiative that we're building right now with Sarah teams at Shared Services. Like I want to say bravo to the whole team about what we're trying to accomplish right now. I really believe in better together. Like men must be part of the solution. I want to be part of the discussion. Like I want to be part of the solution. We're all part of the solution. Like I need to be honest. Like I was so uncomfortable the first time, the first event, Women in IT event at University of Ottawa. That was my initiative. And honestly, after my introduction speech at the launch of the initiative, as the group, like I say, can I stay for the lunch? And they say yes, for sure. After the lunch, I asked them about like, okay, can I participate to the first activity? I was kind of like begging them. So I say, can I stay for a few minutes? Like finally, I tried to escape for the first group picture, and I'm really proud today that they said no, you must be on that picture. I'm really proud to be on that first picture. But honestly, I was going to I guess run away from that picture because I was afraid. I was afraid as a man. And in my experience during our events, it's men react really positively to see me on stage, and that's what I want to do today. Like I want the men to see a man's doing what maybe they're not comfortable to do, and for that reason, like we need to create and support change male allies that will become confidence to be like a change agent to change our workplace and so on. So thank you to invite me and to be there on the stage with you today.
Merci beaucoup, Martin. Luc?
Oui, moi, je pense que c'est très important d'aider le support pour les femmes, étant donné que j'ai une belle fille de 27 ans maintenant, et elle est aussi en IT, donc je suis très fier d'elle. I think the support for women starts at home. I think I was conditioned from day one when I was born to be able to help women eventually in the future. I've lost my father at the age of 5 for a car accident. And I had 2 sisters that were younger than me. I lost my grandfather a few years later, so my grandmother ended up living with us. I had 4 women and Luc. And we were working really hard to put meats on the table, to work our differences, to help each other out. There was never a question. If someone asked for something, we're there to help each other. I was very fortunate. My first summer job at 13, I worked on a little ferry boat, and I was the owner, a woman and a man. And the woman was working the night shift with me most of the time. So I saw how hard she worked as much as him. So to me, it was a balance. It was never him or her. It was always a balance, and they put a lot of skin in the game to make that business to run and to work. I was very fortunate when I became my first sales manager job. My boss as a VP of sales was a woman. And I had so much respect for her. I had learned so much from her. So from my young age, I spend a lot of time with women and admire them and appreciate all the things they can do and all the quality they brought to me. I was able to learn early on. So never once in my life I questioned when I would interview a candidate if it was going to be a man or a woman. It was always going to be the best candidate, and often it was a woman. And that's why from my first manager job, I have a reputation in the industry to hire a lot of women for the right job and the right skill set. And in fact, 3 times in my last 10 years in leadership role, I replaced myself with a woman. My last president job at NCR, I brought Linda, and a woman, to replace me. And that was her first president job. I give her the platform to be successful, and she did amazingly well. And now I'm looking at my daughter that is growing up to become a young adult, and I become her speed dial coach, which I love. And I've been coaching young women for a better part of the last 15 years. And when someone asks for help, I'm always there to help. So to me, that's kind of my input for this question.
Merci, Luc. So very inspiring. Thank you both for sharing. And it's so true. You see it all the time. The first event, I invited men to join to support women. They didn't come. They didn't register. I call all of them to say, you have your place at the table. You need to be part of us to help us. So some of them joined, but then they didn't participate because, as you said, Martin, they were uncomfortable just being there and participate. So through leadership and discussion and a little bit of push, we now have very strong men allies. But it takes men like you to talk about it and to talk about how you do it and how we can do more together. So now I will turn to some questions to see how you motivate others and what are the steps you're taking to support women. So Luc, I'll start with you. You're very passionate about promoting gender diversity. I would like to know what motivated you to become a male ally and champion for this issue.
Yeah, well, first, when I was at Red Hat, I realized that it was very difficult to attract women to come for interviews. So I had to change the way we approach the market awareness, the attraction that we have at the company. We're not maybe as attractive for women to come and work for us. So I started to do different programs. So I started to do a leadership development program for women. And we had about 12 people participated in that program, which was really, really unique. I funded on my own budget, but couldn't get budget from HR everywhere else. So I started to do this program, and the noise in the marketplace started to resonate, where I was doing a lot more than most of the other company to assist women in their progression, in their growth, and their development. As well, I started to do write some papers in the Global Mail. I wrote 3 articles about calling the man to come and join the cause. And you must have read some of those articles in Global Mail. And I was calling out the men that were absent of the conversation. Come and help this cause. So more and more I was provoking the marketplace, more and more provoking other men. Women started to get notice about the fact that I was really a champion for their cause. Then I started to do some events. I did 5 years in a row events where I was bringing a panel of women, a panel of men, talk about this in the public forum. We had 100, 125 people coming in, mainly 80% women, 20% men. But we're talking about this as it was something we needed to resolve and fix together. And I really had the benefit of experiencing the well-balanced scorecard of having a good balance between man diversity and women into a sales team. And I do believe that the right balance bring more performance, and the right balance bring more performance, and people makes decisions that are better for the rest of the organization. So I think we have some case study that we have written with Hy-Vee Publishing School that shows some amazing stats. When I started at one of this company in 2013, 5% were diverse, and 5 years later, 30+% were diverse. And during that period of time, in 2017, 2018, we were the top performance region in the world. And I really look at the diversity and the balance of scorecard I put together to be one of the elements of the success. And it takes a lot of hard work. You need to be very consistent and persistent about doing this. But if you do it well, every day, every week, every month, you'll see some results. As an example, my LinkedIn had about 1% female attached to my LinkedIn 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's about 15, 16%. So I was able to change the dial of the conversation by bringing more of a trusted party, me, in front of many women out there that trust me now. And that's the first, I guess, indicators that the message has started to work.
Merci beaucoup. Martin, est-ce que tu veux partager?
Well, honestly, I totally agree with Luc. I have exactly the same. I think similar experience, similar background than Luc. But maybe I will take a different point of view, and I'll go to a personal note. I have a daughter at high school, and hopefully my daughter, like Luc was talking about her daughter and working in the tech sector, and hopefully my daughter will work in the tech sector one day. That's my goal. Maybe the different. I'm working in a university, and for me, I want to give her all the opportunity in the future, and I want to build a better place for her and also for her friends. You know, I'm doing it for her, but also I'm doing it for our student at university. We're doing it for our staff, our friends, our colleagues, for everyone that we're talking with. For me, when we need to do more promotion about inclusion as early as possible. When we're talking about the workplace, for me, it's already quite late. I want to promote inclusion starting at the high school. And I have the feeling that I have the chance to be at university, but also to try to interact with the high school. I can see the barriers right now, like some high school, college, like university program, courses, marketing. They're more designed for boys than girls. And maybe I have a personal story, and like it's 3 years ago. Like I've been at university for 2 years and a half ago. 3 years ago, I registered my daughter in her first engineering summer camp before being at university. She didn't agree at all with our decision. She was not happy, and I truly understand that and so on. But we're trying to convince her that she needs to try something different than cheerleading, dance, and gym. Like I have nothing against that, but it was really to try to convince her to try something different. And the deal with her is say go 1 week at the engineering camp, and after that, for the rest of the summer, you can decide wherever you want to go. And again, it's not easy for a dad, I think, like to be in IT to promote STEM with my daughter. But at the end of the first day at the camp, I was so afraid to pick her up at the engineering camp. I was afraid, but I saw her smile. She was so happy, and I was so surprised. And I asked her about why are you so happy? And she said because she discovered that engineering, it's more than maths and coding. Most of the time we see engineering and IT as coding, but it's also about art and others, about 3D printing and so on. And I think for me, I discover personally that we need to change the way we're doing promotion with our kids. I think the way we're presenting technology, like the STEM, sciences, technology, engineering, maths, I think we need to change that. I'm not a big fan of that word. I like to include the art into and I used to use a word like more STEAM with the art. I think that's really important. for our initiative, instead of Women IT, it was Women in IT initially, but we picked innovation. For me, it's more inclusive from my point of view. It's innovation to design a better future. It's about people. I really want to try to influence my workplace, but other workplace, to remove those barriers. I'm also I'm here today because of all the women in my life. Also in the past, like there's so many projects accomplished. I know, like Luc was talking about, the accomplished in the past, like being more efficient with women in the team, and that's why I believe, like, you know, I'm here because of them. Like today, and one example, like that shirt, my business shirt right now, is it's really to think about my daughter. There's some, I'm sure you can see it. There's some music notes on it and so on. She loved that shirt, and in most women innovation events, I used to wear that shirt. Don't tell anyone, because they're going to say, they're going to realize I'm always wearing the same business shirt. But just to remember that I'm doing that for her. That's for me, and it's for me that's a really key aspect of why I'm doing that right now.
Merci beaucoup. It's so true. And I was having the exact same discussion with Dean of Engineering in different university. And that's exactly what they were saying. Like, engineering is about solving problems, which include health and art and those other topics that women are more attracted to. And we need them to understand that there's a place for them and there's a need for them. And the same thing, another computer science school was telling me that they were taking people without IT background. They really wanted to be inclusive right at the start, and then they can learn how to work with technology. And coding is not part of everybody's future. There's a lot more around. So thank you very much, both of you, for sharing. So now, Martin, I'll turn to you. So you said you've been at Ottawa for about 3 years now. So what did you do right from the start to welcome and bring more inclusivity in your work?
I think, for me, when we talk about like inclusion, I think, for me, the first thing I've done, it's really to make the information available to everyone. I think, for me, information doesn't belong to one person, to a group of person. It's really to everyone within the organization. Having information available to everyone, I think, for me, that's give a sign, that's promote transparency, accessibility, and collaboration. I think in general, that's what's kind of like the starting point. Now everyone can benefit from the same access of the information, including women. And I don't want to be just say, but it's really everyone, but including women. Information should be available, and it's not depending of title. Everyone it's equal. The other thing I try to do, and that's really, I'm trying to recognize microaggression. You know, it's a really difficult topic. It's not an easy one, but at the same time, like based on my personality, I really like justice. Like I don't know why I like equity. I'm a big fan of transparency, but I'm always going to intervene if a woman doesn't get the space or she's not able to express herself and so on. I'm going to intervene. I'm saying woman, but anybody else, I'm going to intervene. That's something for me. It's really important. I'm also like a really proud founding member of the Ottawa Women Innovation, as I was mentioning before. The story started with 15 women and 1 male ally in 2018. Today, we have more than 200 active members. Initially, the initiative was Women in IT, but it was clear. I was mentioning it's Women in IT most of the time is doing reference to STEAM. But for me, a lot of women was asking about, can I participate to your initiative? And I was asking, why are you asking that question? They were saying, because I'm not in IT. And I say, okay, we need to change. We need to be more inclusive and so on. That's why we changed the name. That's why we named the name to Ottawa Women in Innovation. It's really to make sure everybody is on board, not IT people, not STEAM people. It's really everyone. And our vision in the group is really to provide a platform for both women and male allies in STEM, including art. And as I was mentioning earlier, I'm really happy and proud of our collaboration on male ally training with you, Sarah, at Shared Services, so on. And so I really believe that the initiative will be key in the future. Previously, Luc was talking about different metrics and so on, about some decisions made in the past and so on. I also like made some decisions in my group. Initially, my management team was just men, 100% men on the management team and so on. But we transformed the IT senior management team by adding 3 women directly to my team. And now we have 3 of 6. So we have 50% of people, like men and women, But also I actively encourage my executive assistant and the two other assistants to participate. Honestly, it's kind of like I have 6 fantastic women out of 9 around the table to talk about all the key topics we have and that we need to resolve. Last year, I did a job shadowing with one female from high school, an high school student. My daughter, that's the same school that my daughter is going. So it's a high school, just girl or only. And I'm presently trying to work with that school to develop a program. I would like to provide more visibility regarding technology, but also women innovation. That's something I'm trying. There's also last month, I've created the first CIO student engagement coordinator position for IT. I'm trying to have someone who could do the interaction with all my students. We used to have between 20 and 40 students, depending the semester and so on. And she's also like a woman, and she's also raised some interest to be mentored by me, and she wants to become a CIO one day. So right now I'm trying to work with her. She's from the Telfer Business Technology Management Program. And honestly, she's an amazing student and so refreshing. This is another type of diversity of the workplace. I really want to strong. I work at the university, so I need to do that. I need to encourage everyone, bring more students within the organization. If you want diversity, if you want to bring new energy, that's amazing and so on. At the same time, I've created the Student Management Champion. It's also a woman working on that. And also, I'm working also for training and discussion regarding women in IT with the university CIO. There's a University CIO Association in Canada and technology professional and so on. So I'm getting more and more on different discussion. And it's nice because they inviting me more and more to participate to the discussion.
Alors, Luc, tu voudrais nous dire comment toi, ça a commencé?
Yeah, when I started to be in management, I found it very strange how many people were leaving the organization for no particular reason. So early on, I started to focus on retention. To me, employee retention was my number one thing. If an employee stays with the company, it's good for the company and from many aspects of you. So leading by example became one of the things I become to do, where every people that I ever hired, I interviewed. And the time, it happens a few times, I did not. I regret it after. So to me, leading by example means that the interview process, if that's important to you, your management start to be trained about it's important for them. And often they will be part of the interview process with me in the same room. And sometimes I will be with them, with their interviewing people. And that set the stage for proper retention later on. The second point is I've created some development program, hyper program, leadership development program, every company I work for the women that work in the team. And that was something that I saw women aiming for a 1 level of promotion. Now they're aiming for 2-level promotion, which I loved. Pay equity was another big one. Every year you were given a budget of money, let's say 3% of your pool of money to give to the people as a pay increase. I would always go to the ones that were paid less and balance the trades. And often they were women that were in that bottom category. I would always give all my budget there if I saw a discrepancy between men and women for the same skill set, the same job. So I always focus on these 3 things. And I'm a big fan of special projects. And then you put the person on the stage to present their outcome in front of the group. And I would use often women to do the special project to make sure they had the visibility of the rest of the management team in play. And when my executive would come to Canada to meet with the Canadian team, I would make sure he has one-on-one with 2 or 3 of the women in the group that I thought had potential for management. I would give them that visibility all the time. So just a few little things that are not costing anything to anybody, a best practice for leadership and manager to execute. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But retention, last 3 years at Red Hat, 0% employee that left me. So the result was amazing. And guess what? The training budget, the spend of recruitment, and all the effort of doing all this, the all goes away. And it's only about productivity at that point in time.
Well, that's fantastic. And this is so true. And I'm having fun. When I'm meeting with CEOs, I'm asking them to bring diversity to the table. I want people who actually do the work to present to me. And it's very interesting how the bold and wonderful woman I had the chance to meet and see present, just because I was telling the CIO that I didn't want to hear from them. I wanted to hear from the people who did the work, and often it was women. And Martin, it's a pleasure working with you on the Man and Ally program because, as we said earlier, it's uncomfortable, and building those programs and finding new tools will help men to step up into the field and help us. So continue on that topic, Martin, you're a very visible leader. So what do you do to encourage the other men? What can you do to inspire them, or what do you do to inspire them?
Like, honestly, I love that question because, like, I'll be really, really honest. Like, when I started my journey of becoming a male ally, I was so afraid of making mistake. And honestly, I'm still be afraid of making mistake. But there's one thing I really realized, that most of the men are having the same emotion. You know, we are afraid. So how could we address that? I went to a conference like a few weeks after our initial launch 2 years ago, like the one I was trying to escape for every step during the event and so on. And I met a wonderful group of women in IT in US. It was women and men's. And I asked them about what should be my role and how I should act. Like the answer was so simple, but that's exactly, the timing was perfect for me. They said, you must be there. You must be visible. You must provide your support. Like, don't be afraid to make your mistake. And this is what I'm keeping in mind since then. There's no specific or concrete recipe. When I became like the U Ottawa Women Innovation First Male Allies, it was so impactful on me. Like, I need to admit, like, to myself that I don't have all the answer, and I was there to learn, and I'm just like you today, but I'm still learning. That's what we're doing right now. We're learning, but now, as a male ally, I could share some of my past experience. I realized after several events that I can bring other men, a lot of them, to the diversity discussion because I'm open and honest with them. And I'll give you one simple example. It's minor, but has a major impact. If the invitation emails is coming out directly from my mailbox, I know there's more men who will attend the event. You know, they're assuming that they can participate because the invitation is coming from a man. Like, we need to be clear that men are welcome to participate to the events and also welcome to the debate. That's something we need to be really careful. No, I want to create that safe space for open dialogue, learning, and to test ideas. Like most events organized by Women Innovation now have close to 50% men attending. Wow, it's amazing. I'm proud. I think the first event we're close to 50-50. I was so proud. We just reached the top. But the last event we went down really quickly, and I think that's why we need to be careful. The invitation of the next event didn't come from my mailbox, and only 10% of the men show up. And this was a big lesson learned for me, and I think for the group, we need to be really careful for the details, like title of the invitation and perception for the men about the invitation, you know. And also, Sarah, you were mentioning, ask your man allies to do follow-up directly with your colleagues. I think for me, that's the only way. Men, they're not comfortable, so they need to be contacted directly, you know. And I think our committees are ready for discussion and to learn. I think we need to do more and more awareness and so on, but we need to do more than just awareness. This is a reason, and you were mentioning, this is a reason of the Male Ally Training Initiative with you, Sarah, and Shared Services. Like you, Ottawa Women Innovation, have been a key driver of this initiative. I'm so excited that the Male Ally Training is going further than just awareness training. It's about asking a clear commitment to concrete change. You know, the Male Ally Training will include a commitment by each male participant to mentor a woman in their organization and to be accountable to the court for addressing one systematic barriers in their organization. I think for me, that will be the key aspect. We need concrete change. We need to have a concrete impact and so on. That's what we're going to work. The goal of the training is also to create a safe space for men. I think over and over, I think that's something we need to be always keep in mind. This is the key to this initiative. You know, we need a safe space to test their ideas, to unpack the unconscious bias, and they need to learn about how to counter microaggressions. Change male allies or really change agent with a focus on diversity. like many men feel more comfortable becoming an ally if there is someone to show them the way. And that's what the role I'm trying to play within that initiative. It's to be one of them, one of the men that could bring another man at the table, bring another one, and that will be the key aspect of that initiative. And again, thank you again, Sarah, to propose to develop that initiative with you.
Merci, Martin. Luc, what about you?
Martin, I cannot disagree with you. This is amazing because our thoughts and my thoughts are really in line with you. 8 years ago, I attended my first luncheon, woman luncheon, at one of the national sales meetings, 200 women in a room, Luke and 2 other guys there, sitting there having a lunch and listening to these speakers. So I came back to Canada, I sat down with my PR person, Alex, that you guys have met, which is an amazing person. And I said, we need to do something different to bring more men into this conversation. So I totally agree with you, Martin. The men need a place, a safe place, a platform to go and talk. And this is what I realized 8 years ago when I did my first Women in IT event. I was stretching my neck out there. I was the only man doing these things 8 years ago, but I surrounded myself with a really good team. I had the Dean of Ryerson, I had the president of Catalyst, EVP of CIBC. I had people in charge of diversity, that's what they do for a living, coming to coach me how these events should look like and how these events should be delivered to the audience. Great, I guess, coach that I got. And after you do 1, you do 2, you be more comfortable, and then you get a place that is safe for you to be able to proceed with whatever you want. And you need to have people that are unbiased around you to coach you, to tell you exactly what it's black, what it's white, because sometimes you think it's okay, but sometimes it's not. But these people were really honest, were sometimes brutal with me, but I took it, but I wanted to improve, I wanted to learn. And the men need to be educated. This is what I'm kind of telling here. I was educated, although I was a willing participant from the get-go, I needed to be educated. I needed to understand what was really the problem, because all my life I was a good friend with women. I would hire people. I would just promote them right, left, and center. I was not the enemy. I was a friend, but I did not realize I was one of the few out there. I can say honestly, since I started doing these events the last 10 years by inviting men, be on the guest on the panel, now I have about a dozen guys like me that are leading their own events, are at the forefront in the environment, creating some good place for the woman to be. And I'm really proud to be one of the coach for these men along the way and be able to create a platform to be secured for them to go and talk and to be able to make a difference. And one of the things that pleased me the most is when a woman meets me 3, 4, 5 years later, and she tells me that was a big difference in her life, to be able to accomplish what she has to accomplish, and how many times that happened to me, many times, which is the reward of being able to be the years later, that the reward to be able to help people is to be able to be acknowledged. Hey, by the way, you know what you did for me 3 years ago? That was remarkable. Nobody has ever done this. And it could be a training program, could be a connection with the LinkedIn connection. I make myself a promise, always return my calls, always return my text, my email, and my LinkedIn. It's hard LinkedIn because I have so many, but I promise myself to respond all of those things within 48 hours. You know what? It's a simple commitment, but it's my commitment to my community, to my friend, to my network, to the women that are supporting and following me. And women, don't be afraid to ask a man to be your coach. I've been asked to be coached about 4, 5, 6 times a year, and I'm pleased to do the coaching for 3, 4 months. Then they go and we do other things. So coaching is something I love to do, and I've been doing a lot of coaching for many years, and it's not going to stop tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think you were both so candid and generous in your sharing, and this is really what we need. You were vulnerable in telling how you learned, and now you're happy with your impact. So you told us that it's not just about knowing our gaps and biases. They are very important. Creating awareness, very important as well, but it's about taking concrete actions. So thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for inspiring other men. And thank you for committing to a long and lasting change, because without you, we cannot do it. So it was a pleasure, gentlemen, to have a chat with you today. And thank you for everybody who joined the session. That was a very interesting topic to discuss, one that I'm passionate about.
Merci Sarah, merci Martin. À bientôt.
Merci à vous deux. Merci, très apprécié.